Good morning, children. Welcome to our social session. In our previous session, I explained you fourth lesson in geography, that is weather and climate. Yes, in weather and climate, I had explained in detail what is weather, what is climate, difference between weather and climate. Even we have seen elements of weather, that is temperature, air pressure, winds, moisture, and precipitation. In the fifth lesson, I shall explain temperature. Children, now temperature. What is temperature? Many times we have seen someone saying, or even you say, that there is rise in temperature or fall in temperature. What is temperature? We shall learn about temperature in this lesson. Now, whenever you have fever, we use thermometer, okay, to check our fever. If you have high fever, then in thermometer you see the temperature rises, okay, and as the fever decreases or it goes, then the temperature falls. So same way, we shall learn about the temperature on the surface of the earth. Yeah, how the surface of the earth gets heated, the land gets heated, as well as the water in the ocean, lakes, reservoirs gets heated. All this we shall learn in this lesson, temperature. Temperature, I have divided this lesson into two parts. In the first part, I shall explain you about the meaning of temperature, and we shall learn about the different thermal zones. Okay, and there are few experiments which are shown here, that also we will learn. Now look at the picture, children, on page number 23, figure A and B. You can see there is a paper there, okay, plain paper. It is attached on a board, and on the other left hand side you can see there is a torch light. And here there are two papers shown. One is straight, okay, vertically placed, and the other paper is slant. And see the difference in the torch light. In figure A, the torch light falls perpendicular on the paper, and you have to just mark a circle, yeah, up to how much the area is covered by torchlight. Yes. So if you see, compare both the figure, you will see that in the first figure, where the torchlight falls perpendicular, you can see a small circle there. Yes. And in the other figure, where the paper is slant, you will see the circle is elongated. Okay. So same way this happens on the Earth's surface. Our planet Earth is spherical in shape. Okay, it's not flat. If it would have been flat, then the sun rays would have been dispersed evenly to all parts of the Earth. But as our planet Earth is spherical in shape, curvature, it's curved in the near the poles, North Pole and South Pole. And see at the center I had already explained you about equator. Okay, different lines we had learned, the latitudinal line, longitudinal lines, yes, and center line of equator, which divides the earth into two parts. There the space is maximum. Okay, the earth, if you draw lines, so you can see the center part, the line is maximum, and as you go near the poles in the northern part as well as southern part, the latitudinal line, it goes on decreasing. Yes, why this happens? Because our planet Earth is spherical in shape. Okay, so same way, when the sun rays come towards the earth's surface, okay, when during the morning time, when the sun rays, it falls on the earth's surface, so it comes in a straight line. Okay, sun rays coming towards the earth travel in straight line, but earth is spherical in shape. For that reason, these are not perpendicular to all parts of the earth. Till now, you must know, children, you must be knowing what is perpendicular. In the first figure, we have seen the torch light which comes on the paper. This is the perpendicular line. Perpendicular means straight. Yes. So sun rays, it falls straight on the earth's surface, but as the earth shape is spherical, yeah, so it is not equal to all parts of the earth. Some parts it falls perpendicular, while in some part it is slant. Okay, slant like figure B. Slant rays means how we could see in figure B. So perpendicular area, when the sun rays falls perpendicular, please look at figure A, children. When the perpendicular rays occupy less area. See figure A. If the sun rays are perpendicular, then the area occupied by these rays is less. It occupies the less area. And see the other figure. The sun rays are slant. Okay, the torch light, the light which falls are slant. So if the rays are slant, so the area occupied, okay, is more. Yeah. So the part where the rays occupy lesser area receives bright sunshine and greater heat. And the part where the area occupies, where the slant rays, where sun rays fall slant, it occupy a larger area. Okay. Same figure B. Where the rays, it occupy a larger area. It falls slant on a larger area. In this area, sunlight appears less bright and there is less heat. So, where the sunlight comes slant, okay, the rays are slant, so it occupies more area. But the heat received is less. Okay, or because heat received is less, why? Because the area occupied is more due to the slant rays. Hence the surface there gets less heated and the air too is less hot. Okay, so here surface, as the area is more, yes, and more and less heat, the sun rays fall slant, so area covered is more, but the heat received is less. So less heat received, so it is less hot. And in figure A, area light falls perpendicular and the area covered is less. So less area covered, so there is more heat. Okay, so as the area is less, so more heat is absorbed and the air there becomes more hotter. Did you understand this, children? Yes. So same thing happens with our planet Earth. Near the equator, okay, near the equator at the center, when there is a torrid zone. Torrid zone, the sun rays falls perpendicular. Yeah, and there The area as the sun rays falls perpendicular, less area receives more heat. Area is less and the heat received is more. That is why here the climate is extreme. Yeah, it receives more heat. And near the temperate zone and frigid zone, the sun rays falls slant and the area occupied is more. Okay, and sun rays is slant, and so heat received by this portion is less. You can see figure 5.2 children on page number 24. You could see how the sun rays falls. Actually it falls perpendicular, means it comes straight. It comes straight on the earth's surface, but at the center it is perpendicular. Okay, so the area is less and the heat received is more. And if you see B position, it is slight slant. Here it's shown straight, but the heat received, the light falls is slant, and near the poles it is very slant. Okay, so there is very less heat received. Okay, in near the poles. Yeah, and that is why there the temperature is cool. You got the point, children? Yes. So the figure A, B and C in 5.2, just see the figure 5.2. A receives perpendicular rays, while the region marked B, it receives slant rays, and the region marked C, they are extremely slanting. Okay. Now see figure 5.3, page number 24. These are the different thermal zones. Okay, at the center 0 degree, this all we had learned about torrid zone, temperate zone in our previous lessons. Yes, now in this lesson we are learning about temperature. So let us see the extent of temperature on the earth's surface. Now at the center, that is equator, it is the torrid zone. Then as you go away from the equator near the poles, degree is 23 degree 30 minutes north and down 23 degree 30 minutes south. Okay, and then there is temperate zone on northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Then at 66 degree 30 minutes north, frigid zone, and then there is north pole and the south pole. This poles, it is called as the frigid zone, freezing point. Yeah, there is ice covered. The land is fully covered by ice. Antarctica south, you must have heard about Antarctica, Arctic Circle. Yeah, it is covered with snow. Yes, because there is very less heat as the sun rays are slant. So sun rays falling on the earth are straight and parallel to each other. But we have seen that due to spherical shape of the earth and the resultant curvature of the surface, they occupy a larger or lesser area. This leads to unequal distribution of the heat received from the sun, resulting in decreasing temperature from the equator to the north and south poles. Yes, due to the spherical shape of the earth, the heat received is not even, it is uneven. Yes, so from the center near the torrid zone, the heat is more, it's severe, it's extreme. But as you go away from the equator towards the north and the south pole, the heat goes on decreasing. Okay, and this, though latitude is the main factor, there are other factors also which influence the distribution of temperature. However, their effects are limited to a particular region. These factors are as follows. Now, children, along with the latitudinal lines, yes, uh, the sun rays, I told you that it falls on the earth's surface, yes, which are perpendicular. Somewhere it is perpendicular, somewhere it is slant. So it affects the temperature on the earth. But along with the latitude, there are other factors also which influence the distribution of temperature. Yes, but their effects are limited. It is only to a particular region. Now let us understand which are these factors. It is nearness to the sea, continentality, height above the mean sea level, and physical setup of a region are factors that lead to diversity in the climate of a different region. Other than this, factors like cloud cover, winds, vegetation cover, urbanization, industrialization, etc. also influence the local climate. So these are the all other factors which influence the temperature of a particular region. Is this clear to you, children? Okay. Now next, there is an experiment which is shown here. Let us perform an experiment to see that there is a difference in the heating and cooling of land and water. Now, due to the heat of the sun, the heat which is received, okay, on the earth's surface, this heat makes the land as well as the water hot. Okay, there is the effect of heat, yeah, which affects the temperature. So let's see the experiment which helps you to know the difference in the heating and cooling of land. Till now you must have understood that the sun rays, the heat of the sun helps the land as well as water to get heated. Okay, because of this heat our land surface and water surface gets heated. So let us do an experiment here. In figure 5.4 you can see two children. In figure A there is a girl, yeah, no, she has a container there, and B boy, they have water in that container, okay, in that dish. So in the first picture you can see a girl, she has put water in that dish, but she's inside her house, and the boy, he's standing with same water in the dish outside the house, means in the sun. Okay, so there are two experiments, means one, uh, the vessel, the dish is kept inside the house, dish with filled with water kept inside the house, and other, it is kept outside in the heat, yeah, in the sun. And you have to check the room temperature, yeah, inside the house where you have kept the water, there you just walk barefoot and see the temperature of the floor, feel the temperature of the floor. And out also in the sun where you have kept the dish be filled with water, see the temperature barefooted, yeah, in out means in the gallery or outside your house, somewhere out, yeah, or in the garden, in the open space. Now you have to perform this activity inside as well as outside the house, and do this again, and see around 7 in the evening. See the temperature. Feel the temperature of water, the water which you have kept inside the house and the water which you have kept outside the house. So it is a common sense, you will understand that the water which you have kept out in the sun, it will be heated faster. It will get more heated. Okay, so this only happens with the earth's surface. Now let us see the explanation. You must have realized that the land cools down earlier than the water. The water kept outside in the sun is still a little warm. Due to this difference in the heating and cooling of land and water, the air over the land gets heated faster and also becomes cooler rapidly. The air over the water gets heated slowly and also loses the heat in a slower manner. In the coastal areas, as compared to the continental areas, the temperature of air is lower during the day but warmer at night. Contrary to this, the temperature of air in the continental areas is higher during the daytime and lower at the night time. Okay, so if you feel, you see the land in the afternoon time, if you step outside your house barefooted, you will find the land gets heated faster. You couldn't stand in severe heat, okay, afternoon heat, suppose summer heat and all, October heat, summer heat. You can't go barefooted out, okay. You have to wear chappal, means the land it becomes hot faster. But suddenly in the evening, after some time, yeah, you will see that the land cools down also faster. Okay, land gets heated faster and cools down also faster. Yes, for instance, suppose if you place a container, means filled with water to heat. Okay, if you allow it to heat, then for some time you can even put your finger in the water. Okay, you can feel that water is cool. Water takes time to get heated, but slowly, the water gets heated. You can just put the finger for some time, you can just move your finger in the water. But once the water gets heated, then you could feel the heat. Suppose, for example, the boiling point, water boils, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Then you can't dare, don't dare to put water, your finger in the water. Okay? And after some time also, after 1 hour also, if you go then and you feel, if you put the finger and you touch, the water is hot. Yeah? Warm. After 2 hours also, if you go, you could feel that the water is warm. So what is the difference? Water, it takes time to get heated. It gets heated slowly. The water gets heated. And once it gets heated, then it takes time to cool down, and it cools down also in the slower manner. But vice versa, opposite to land, land gets heated faster and it cools down also faster. Whereas water, it gets heated slowly and it cools down also in a slow manner. So same way, the same thing happens with the coastal area as compared to continental area. The temperature of air is lower during the day but warmer at night. During the day, in coastal area, if you compare it with continental area, the air is lower during the day, temperature of air. But it is warm at night. Warm why at night? Because water in the ocean, yeah, it gets heated slowly. Once the water gets heated, the air on the surface of the sea and all, it also gets heated. So at night, continental area, the temperature is warm. But contrary to this, the temperature of air in the continental area, there is land there. So land gets heated faster. So in the continental area, during daytime, the temperature is higher. Rajasthan and all, if you go, yeah, the daytime Nagpur side, daytime it's higher, the temperature is higher. But night time, it's extreme opposite. Yeah, it's lower at night. The temperature is cool there at night. Daytime, continental area, the temperature is higher. Night time, the temperature is cool. Whereas for coastal area, daytime, the temperature of air is lower, and night time it is warmer. Is this clear to you, children? Now next, in coastal areas, because of heating of seawater, water vapor gets mixed in the air. Yeah, the seawater gets heated slowly, and once the seawater gets heated, the air on the surface of the seawater, the water vapor, it gets mixed in the air. The seawater, after heating, it gets converted into vapor. So this vapor, while rising up, it gets mixed in the air. And this water vapor holds the heat in the air. As a result, the air in the coastal area remains moist and warm. And in coastal area, continental area, the conditions are exact opposite. Okay, continental area during daytime, the land gets heated faster. So along with the land, the air on the surface of the land gets heated faster. And because of that, during daytime, the continental area, it is the temperature is very hot. Okay, why? Because as water vapor is absent there, the air remains dry. This leads to sharp differences in the day and night temperature. The difference in the maximum and minimum temperatures of a day is called diurnal range of temperature. So there is a maximum difference in the continental area. During daytime it's very hot, and during night time it's very cool. So maximum and minimum temperature, day and night. So that is why it is known as diurnal. Okay, diurnal range of temperature. In short, the difference in the day and night temperature is less in the coastal areas and more in continental area. For example, Mumbai temperature are even, yeah, but at Nagpur they vary a lot. In the coastal region of Konkan, the range of temperature is less, but in Vidarbha, the range of temperature is found to be higher. Therefore, coastal areas have an equable climate, whereas continental area, the climate is extreme. We live in the coastal area, Mumbai. Okay, so here the climate is equable, hot and humid. Okay, as we stay near the coast. For example, the climate of Mumbai is equable, means the climate is not extreme like Vidarbha or Nagpur side or Rajasthan side. It's not extreme. There's not vast difference in daytime and nighttime temperature. The temperature is equable. Okay, but Nagpur it is extreme. The difference in the mean temperatures of summer and winter is called annual range of temperature. Okay, with this we finished our first part of geography lesson, temperature. In the next lesson we shall learn about ocean currents, then simple thermometer and mean annual temperature. Thank you, children.